Welcome back to Peace, Love and Tarot. This is daily guidance for Friday, August the 2nd for all signs. So guys, it's a general reading for all signs, so just take what resonates and release the rest. So what we have here is we have the Six of Swords clarified with the Nine of Wands, the Five of Pentacles clarified with the Queen of Swords. We have the Five of Cups clarified with the Five of Cups again. At the bottom of the deck we have the Two of Wands. Also have two Oracle cards, which I'll reveal at the end. So I'm going to start here with the Five of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords, right? So the Five of Pentacles is somebody who's been sort of in the Five of Pentacles energy is in a situation that not only is it sort of not fulfilling them, but it's literally making them feel, isolated, withdrawn, that sort of alienated feeling. So for example, if you were, in a relationship, it might be comfortable, but are you receiving the love that you really deserve and need? And if not, that might make you feel like even though you're with this person, you're alone. It's that kind of feeling. It could be that feeling in, your work group, your team at work, where even though, you are sort of part of the team, there could be something going on that's sort of making you feel like you're a little bit on the outside and that you don't sort of really fit. Now, the reminder with the Five of Pentacles is that, to really sort of change and transform the situation, we really need to see the big picture, right? Because you can see these two people here. They're, don't have, they're shoeless, they're cold, they're hungry, they're weary, and they're walking around outside in the snow. However, they're just passing a beautiful refuge of a church, which I'm sure they could go in and get the food that they want, a bed for the night and that sort of thing. But because they're so caught up in their own misery, they're so caught up focusing on, what's not working in the situation, they've actually missed the opportunity to go into that church and seek what they need for the night. They've walked straight past it. So it's almost like, not seeing the forest for the trees. So sort of ask yourself, are you willingly, staying in that situation? What are you not seeing here? Is there something that you can, an insight that you need to actually move on and change the situation? Now, as clarified with the Queen of Swords, today could be the day that you actually begin to see clearly. You begin to see, the gaps in that situation. You begin to see it for exactly what it is. Because the Queen of Swords is a visionary. She's a truth seeker. She also has the ability to basically cut the rubbish from her life using her sword of victory here. The Queen of Swords is also somebody who knows how to establish firm boundaries in their life. So, if you are in a situation where, you're not getting the things that you deserve and need, you really might need to stand up and have a conversation about that, to really state what what you really do desire, to communicate that to the other party. So the Queen of Wands is also of energy of, being in that sort of mature energy as you go through that situation. So, I really feel like it is a good time to have those kind of conversations under the Queen of Swords energy. You'll have both the insight and sort of the compassion and the maturity of Queen energy. Now, once you actually go through that process of actually seeing the situation for what it is and, really sort of working out, what should I retain? What do I need to release from this situation? Some of you might choose to move on, right? So here we have the Six of Swords and the Nine of Wands. So first of all, the Nine of Wands, right, if you know the Rider version of this card, this is the wounded warrior who's sort of looking over his shoulder. So it sort of says, is, you might have weathered the storm a little bit in this situation. You might have, been in the trenches kind of fighting the battle or trying to kind of sustain yourself in this situation, trying to put up with that relationship even though it wasn't quite working and putting all your energy into that, trying to hang in there with that job, that sort of thing. However, with the Nine of Wands, it's saying that even though you are battle worn and, you have those scars from it, there's still a little bit of energy left in the tank to finish what you started. And that is, after having that sort of insight, to decide whether you're actually going to stay in the situation or whether you're going to transition from it and move on. And we have the Six of Swords here, guys, which, really is that card of making a necessary rite of passage and leaving things in the past, leaving things behind, that no longer serve us, because those things, were, even though you might have been managing them energetically and being, able to stay in it, it was causing you definitely emotional disturbance. And ongoing, that's not a healthy state to be in. It can cause all sorts of issues. It can even cause health issues. So I feel that the energy is here for you to actually transition from that situation, to leave it and actually move towards a much calmer, much calmer future here, a much calmer situation. And, there will be hurts from it potentially, but the reminder with the Six of Swords is to try and leave them behind, try and leave them on the shore, leave them back with the old situation so you can carry on with an empty vessel. Now, the other reminder here is all in this Five of Cups energy. So I also just wanted to point out here too, guys, is that there are three fives in this reading. So 5 is really that number. It's change or conflict, but what I'm really feeling here is that there is change upon you. You're really going to be moving, transitioning in this situation. Now, with the Five of Cups, which we have twice here, so that actually just amplifies the energy even more. We have a person here who is almost in a state of grief, right? They're shrouded in this long black cloak. And, excuse me, this person is actually looking at these 3 spilt cups here. So this person is actually focused on what was lost. They're almost stuck back in the past, looking back here at those kind of tumultuous emotions in the situation that you might be transitioning from. But what happens when we stay firmly focused on that past and the things that we've lost, the hurt, the pain, those kind of things, is that we can miss opportunities that are right behind us, opportunities that are upright, right, and ready for the picking. So, really the reminder is to, if you are going to transition from this situation, to not spend a lot of time sort of, sitting around and over-analyzing it and focus on the past. What we really need to do is turn around and see a brighter future for ourselves. This is somebody here that could easily just walk along here and cross the bridge back to a safe refuge, but it's almost like they are voluntarily staying in this situation because of what they're not seeing. Now, it's very similar to these 2 people in the Five of Pentacles, who, because they're caught up in their own sort of misery, their own kind of pain, and that's what all they've known for a period of time, they're walking past their refuge as well. So it's really that reminder to open up and see the big picture and to focus on the positives. And that's when you'll be able to take this rite of passage. That's when you'll be able to know why you need to transition from the situation and actually start to move towards that. And I think that is what will happen here, because at the bottom of the deck, guys, 2 of Wands. So this is kind of like the next step, the next positive step of this process, because this is a person here who is acknowledging that, they still are in between the past and the future as they stand here in the top of their castle, because this is the wand of the past, firmly tethered to the side of the castle. So it's still there as an option. It's still there as a safety net, and that person can still choose, I'm not going to broaden my horizons and leave my castle. I'm going to go back into the past. I'm going to turn this boat around and sail back. However, I feel like you have decided that the future is the more fruitful opportunity for you, because this person has already got one hand on the future wand. So I feel like you've already got sort of 1 foot beyond your comfort zone, and you're just getting ready to take that leap out into something that's going to potentially be a lot more fruitful, out into those fertile pastures. And this is somebody who's realizing that they have the whole world in their hands, and they're really contemplating how they can seize the day. And I feel like the key message with the 2 of Wands is, are you ready to leave your comfort zone? Because everything that you've been waiting for exists just beyond your comfort zone. So this is the point, guys, where we turn around and see these cups, where we look up and we see that beautiful window of the church and decide, tonight I'm going to go into that refuge. And then it's also the energy of getting in this boat and sailing into those calmer waters. So that's really beautiful. It's very transitional energy today. Now let's have a look at your oracle cards here, guys. The first one we have is Star Mother. How can you mother yourself? And the second one we have is take a break. Life is not a season, get off the treadmill. So for me, guys, these cards are saying, you know what, self-care is really going to be needed this day. You know, if you're making a transition and you're going through emotional things, you know, you really do need to nurture yourself and look after yourself during that process, because that's when, you know, there can be elements of stress, our immunity can dip and that sort of thing. So just be really, really kind to yourself as you're going through this transition, and see what you can do for yourself that's just going to nurture yourself on an extra level. So maybe a nice walk, cooking a healthy dinner, taking a bath or a nice warm shower at the end of the day before you get into bed, that kind of thing. So, you know, really nurture yourself as you're going through this day. So that's what I have for you guys. That's your daily guidance for Friday, August the 2nd. You know, I hope you enjoyed the reading, and I'll be back for another reading with you very soon.